Hello, and welcome to another session of Gotham by Night. Tonight, we have two horrors. These horrors are hungry. They have been somewhat unsatiated, especially one of them. And as we all know, for creatures of the night and other beasts, hunger is a very, very strong pull. It is the basis for all life. All things must feed. And tonight, we will witness feeding in more ways than one. Andrew and Talon, you have met up at your own distinct location of choice. The rest of the scene is yours, if you wish to proceed.
Speaking of food, I'm actually going to have to step away for a minute. So if you want to start a different scene,
Oh, you piece of
absolutely.
shit.
I absolutely
Oh,
hate
man.
that they're around the corner, but yeah.
No worries.
Um,
So, while the hungry beast, in more ways than one, and the hungry beast controlling the hungry beast go gets food, we'll turn quickly over to Creed. Very quickly here. Creed, I assume you're on your way to the Invictus because you were planning on doing this for a few nights now?
I mean, not the Invictus per se, Elysium and
Elysium, okay.
the court. I'm not just going to tell the Invictus what I found.
The Elysium, okay, go ahead.
Yep. Go ahead. You go ahead.
The Elysium of Gotham City is quite an extravagant one. It takes place at the Quincy Hotel. This hotel is the most massive on the eastern coast. It has 6 floors, each floor rather large and expanding quite an area. The main ballroom area opens up until about 8 o'clock, and then it's closed to the public, and then it is only open to select members of society. On this territory, it is neutral ground. No kindred or supernatural otherwise may raise a hand here. When you walk in, the Quincy Hotel has a bright, kind of yellow and green, vibrant lights out in the front, with a large clock tower in the middle. It expands a very vast area, and the gardens and expansion area, it's just massive. Basically, think of the most fancy hotel you possibly can. You know, massive maze bush garden, rose garden in the back, front gates, everything. And it is quite extravagant. Um, when you proceed up to the gate, you're known somewhat. So you don't really have to really negotiate your way that hard into the gate. Eventually, you just push a button, say your name, and the gates will open for you. On your nice and very fancy bike, which a lot of the kindred have kind of turned down the use of technology recently, although, some have adapted. So you stick out like kind of a sore thumb when you park your motorcycle with a lot of old fashioned vehicles, and yours is somewhat high-upped.
I look at the other vehicles in sort of like annoyance / disgust and just shake my head as I get off it. Of my motorcycle, that is.
As you proceed onto the front door, you're hit by this massive kind of wave scanner, kind of like there was in like Mass Effect, and it scans you through. And of
Holding up.
course, at the door they say, turn all weapons over here.
So I'll drop off my glove and my claws. I'll leave the rings on because those aren't really weapons.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fashion statement that just happens to double nicely as brass knuckles, because ever get punched by a man wearing a bunch of rings? I'll head in.
Head on in. And it really is extravagant and quite impressive. Although you've seen it enough times. You don't see anyone of too massive importance. However, you notice that there is a small gathering taking place over by one of the main entrances to one of the supposed courtrooms the kindred use.
I'll move in that direction then, keeping my eye out for either of the heads of Carthian, then, since there's two of them, or the local hound.
You don't see anyone of note at the moment. However, you do see the main head of the Circle of the Crone, Sarah Smoller. And she... Oops. Technical difficulties. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Her magic destroyed your connection. No, you see the head of the Circle of the Crone. She's kind of one of the only real heads that you see at the moment. And she turns to you and kind of gives you a little look, and then says, Creed, nice to see you at this lovely little incident. I assume you had nothing to do with the overdose of one of our servants upstairs.
Creed looks over, almost like confused, and he was like, "What? What happened? I just got here. Sorry."
Yes, I would assume so. Sorry. Force of bad habit to turn to you when someone overdoses. Oh,
Creed
a
gives
couple
a
of
shy
our...
smile and says, "It's not like it's not warranted."
A couple of our servants upstairs overdosed and are now dead, and their blood is now almost worthless. Just a small little incident we've had to take place, and we also had someone try to break in, but that person was not caught or found. Seems they retreated at this point.
Any idea what caused the overdose?
Well, some of our servants we've been grabbing from some local areas of interest, and it appears that the Penguin has started to dabble in narcotics. And some of the servants we get are from his area, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were some junkies that we've been grabbing, so now we have to be a bit more selective. Some of our higher-ups have conditions where they must feed on those who have, well, certain things running through their veins. I'm sure you know a lot about that, Creed.
Gives a small shrug, like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not of that bloodline or anything like that." But Creed will go. Has anyone actually run a spectral analysis on their blood?
I have.
All right. What substances were in them?
She takes a little glance over at you and then glances back to the procession that's happening. And then she says, "It's not a formula that I am familiar with, but I have heard it called by fear toxin. Apparently, there have been some that have been trying to experiment with this drug and turn it into a more of a narcotic slash respite drug rather than a actual toxin, so to speak.
Creed gives a little whistle and goes, "It's funny you should mention that. Have you seen the hound?"
She does something very odd when you look at her. Like she's not looking at you, she's looking at the procession, and you see one eye, literally just one eye, her right eye, look at you.
Ugh, creepy. He does do that. Ugh, that's so creepy.
I'll take that as a compliment, Creed.
Have you seen any of the prince's officials? I feel I need to make a report concerning that exact topic.
At the moment, no, I have not seen the prince offhand. Although he should be back momentarily. And out of character, let me double grab his overlay because for whatever reason, it's not coming up. Okay, after a while, she says the prince will be back momentarily, as will some of his entourage. I'm curious, Creed, what have you been up to? I haven't seen you here in Elysium in weeks. You're usually such a vocal advocate.
Creed laughs and goes, "Oh, I've had my busy adventures and all that. Funny you should mention the fear toxin." And he says, "I might be getting into that market pretty soon myself."
Let's see, what does she have? She has Auspex 5. She looks at you and then seems to like it's difficult because she doesn't have a lot of celerity. She's more of a spellcaster, but she's very swift. She jerks her movement and she almost takes a fighting stance towards you and then looks back behind you. And then she kind of tilts her head and settles a bit.
Creed raises his hand to his lips and gives a shh motion.
She looks at you, looks back behind you, looks back at you slowly. What have you gotten yourself into this time, Creed?
Just gives a sort of crooked smile and goes, "Now, where would the fun be in telling you that?"
She walks up and puts her face like right up to you. And this image is somewhat enhanced, but that's basically what she looks like. She is literally one of the most vampire-looking vampires in the city.
Yep.
And she gets up like right up in your face and she looks you in the eyes and she says, "I could make you tell me."
You're an Elysium? I think even you wouldn't risk that. And hey, every woman and every man has their secrets. I don't make you tell me all yours.
She smiles and she says, "No." Gives you a little tap on the shoulder. She says, then she kind of looks up and she says, "I believe the prince and some of his entourage are arriving through the front doors right now. I'll see you later, Creed." She doesn't disappear per se. It's almost like she walks sideways and then she's just not there. And then as you feel something kind of walk by you and you feel breath blow in your ear. And then you don't feel any presence near you.
Someone's obfuscated themselves. Creed's going to put his hand to his ear in reaction, but then sort of just catch himself and just run his hand through his hair as if he's trying to get ready to go talk to the prince. And then we'll wait over around in the distance and wait for his turn to seek an audience.
Mm-hmm. After a moment, Prince Jonathan Thomas, Ventrue, Prince of Gotham and leader of the Invictus, eventually goes over. You see him go over, and he's wearing a very nice suit. Talks over, and he's chatting with a few of the guests, and then deals with that incident. And then he looks at his watch, looks up at the clock at the wall, walks on over to you by himself completely, pulls out a cigar, goes to light it, and then looks at you, shrugs, turns around, lights it, turns back towards you, takes a little puff of the cigar. "All right, Creed, I hear you've been looking for me. What's up?"
Creed's going to go, as he's eyeing the embers on the cigar fearfully, as his bane's acting up, because all vampires fear fire.
Yep. And you notice that Jonathan is it's like it's nothing to him.
Yeah, he's playing his power card.
Yep.
Creed's going to go, right, nothing much. Just thought I should warn the court. Edward Thomas, aka the Riddler, seems to be fully aware of our type as well as other magical types, and have recently been taking them off the streets
He raises an eyebrow.
to dissect them. And he's been bringing other mortals in to do the same thing.
Huh. Well, this is a problem. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, Creed.
If you
I
want,
didn't think that you would care for one of my stature.
I am just letting you guys know that I
Doing, as you Carthians put it, your civic duty.
Right. Well, I can give you what information I have, but your lady Tatiana has been the one handling most of the case.
Yes. I heard that there was an incident that several of my contacts were looking into. I assume this is it. And I assume you, her, and a few others are trying to take care of this yourself. I see this as an ample opportunity for you to maybe earn your way for once, Creed.
Big oop.
How about this? I'll tell you what. I'll give you a little bit of resources. Hell, I'll give you, a full cache of weaponry, whatever assets you want. Just don't you forget one thing. What I say goes. Now, how about I let you and your sister and a few others, whatever entourage that you have nowadays, take care of this problem. I'll give you maybe some ways to track him down, and I want you to go and either turn him, eliminate him, or bring him to me. If you kill him or turn him, that is your business, and I'll consider whatever rewards, that he has yours, as long as he keeps his mouth shut and is no longer a problem. If you bring him to me, I will owe you a major boon. How does that sound?
Creed gives us predatory grin and says, "That's all I want to hear, mate."
See, that's why I like you, Creed. Even though you're a blabbermouth asshole, you're a blabbermouth asshole that knows how to do deals and can be bargained with. That's why you're kept around, and that's why I didn't, hang you from the tallest tower when you first arrived in the city.
Gives a small shrug and goes, "Hey, I am what I am."
Yeah, he like literally puts his arm around you and starts walking with you towards the diner room,
Yeah.
friendly. And he's like, you see, that is what makes you so much better than some of your other counterparts. You and, well, a couple of the leaders of you are finally starting to see reason, and you know how to deal. And that's what I like about you, Creed. But listen, and you feel his grip on the other part of your shoulder tight. And he's got Vigor 5, so it's like...
Yeah.
And he said, now listen, if you fuck this up, you break the masquerade. I'll burn.
That Maquette talks like a Ventru.
Yeah. Well, he is a Ventru.
He is the prince, so. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he, at least I believe he is. Thought he was a Ventru.
Symbol that's on his overlay.
Yeah.
Is that one.
Ah, my bad. Oh yeah, you're right. Oops. Oh well, yeah, Maquette. He looks at him, squeezes, and yeah, he does talk like a Ventru. He looks you in the eye, Creed, and he says, now if you fuck this up, I'll leave you to burn. I'll leave you up on top of the clock tower, spiked on the top. You'll burn away into ash like you were nothing. But I don't think you're going to fuck this up. You're a pretty reasonable guy, Creed. I just need you to know the stakes. No pun intended. Now, one other thing I had. I'm having my my sheriff do some inch things here or there, and you could probably connect with him about getting in contact about finding the Riddler. And whatnot. And there are a few rumors I would like to bring up with you. See, me, myself, I'm a businessman. I really don't care who or what you and your sister shag. I mean, that is not my business. But there are a few others around here that are, well, they're incompetent and they're living in the 16th century. Let's be frank. And to be honest with you, it's kind of annoying. So I kind of have to keep up appearances, if you know what I mean, Creed. So I just want you to know that nothing I do to you and your sister from here on out is personal. It's just a demonstration. And I assure you it's not going to be anything serious, and you and your sister will be compensated for the healing and blood that you may lose in the events that happen.
Hey. I've already told her that what she's doing with
You feel the grip on your shoulder just tighten even more.
Yeah. What she's doing is inadvisable, to say the
Oh,
least.
please. He kind of just waves his hand at you, and he does that thing where like you kind of flip your wrist down and just kind of wave someone off.
Yeah.
But he does it with the cigar in his hand, so the cigar gets really close to you, and he's like, "Oh, that's nothing. Like I said, I don't care who and your sister shag, and I personally, the prince of the city, do not hold anything against you for that particular incident. Believe me, in all honesty, some of us get pretty bored. Believe me, after the first 300 years, it gets really boring. Anyway, like I said, I don't care about that. There are others who do, and I have to keep up appearances. And I just need to make it look like you and your sister are on bad terms with me. I need to make it look like you're being punished. Although in reality, I really don't want to punish you or need to punish you. And you notice that as he's walking you into the as he's walking you into the dining room, you can see a couple really higher up members that you've seen kind of walking around.
Yeah.
And he says, now, and he kind of gets really close to you and he's like, now it's for the main event. Like I said, it's nothing personal. It's just business. And he slips 500 cash into your pocket.
All right.
And he also slips a business card. And then he says, now, ladies and gentlemen, Creed, I present. And you notice now that you're standing in the middle of the room with everyone watching you. And he's holding you by the scruff of your neck or the scruff of your collar. And he's not letting you go. Now, as we all know, there are some instances where we, as kindred, must keep the masquerade. We must keep up the mask. This is for good reason, as you all know. I don't need to explain all this to you. You've all known this. And when someone does something that, shall we say, breaks the masquerade, or makes it difficult, or makes a scene and is caught on camera, and then he looks over at Creed with a very serious face, there must be disciplinary actions that must be given. Now, I'm not a barbarian. I don't, particularly like the old ways. But sometimes tradition must be followed. Creed, you have exposed yourself, and therefore have almost exposed us. Now, the footage was easy to take care of. However, this demands 3 cuts. We will take payment in your blood.
Creed
And
blinks.
he reaches around behind him and he pulls out a knife.
Creed blinks and tries to think how did he expose himself.
Indeed, you're trying to remember how. He said something about camera and footage? That's impossible.
And the only time he could have possibly was thinking back to the facility and the docks.
That would be probably the best bet. Without warning, he starts to cut you up. I'll tell you what he does and I'll say how you can react. He will do a horizontal cut at your face from the top right. He will then do a horizontal cut from the top left. And then he will do one across your gut, not quite deep enough to disembowel you, but enough to cut across your midsection.
All right. Creed is going to tighten his fists as he does this and take them like a man.
Right. So you need to do 2 things for me. One, you need to make a willpower save, and then I'm also going to say you need to spend a willpower to not go crazy. But you need to make a willpower save, basically self-control.
And he's going to, before this guy starts cutting him, he's just going to ask the docs. Whisper that.
You'll as he's coming down, he kind of gives you just a very slight nod. Oh wow, very nice roll. You take it. You don't frenzy. You don't lose any self-control. You don't even need to spend that willpower since you did exceptional success technically. So he slashes you across 3 times very quickly. He doesn't have much celerity, but the knife he's using doesn't feel normal. With each cut, it feels agonizing. You feel the pain of fire, but it's not there. You don't frenzy. It's not like witnessing flame, but it feels like fire, and it feels painful. And through sheer willpower alone is the only thing that is keeping you up. And he cuts you pretty good. Like, these are deep cuts. And then he kind of licks the knife and goes, yep. Sheathes it. Actually, no, before he sheathes it, he literally wipes the blood on your shoulder, and then he sheathes it.
Gotta love those blood bonds.
And then he says, now. Holds up his wrist to Creed. Just one, as he looks at Creed.
Creed looks at him and gives a small growl. So I have to
He
make.
smiles a bit.
Hasn't Creed already done this upon being introduced to the court, or is it supposed to be a second stage?
Creed is a bit of a rebel.
So 1 second, let me just double check something. He wants me to take 1 drop Vitae, correct?
Yeah, he just literally just hardly anything.
Yeah, that
Alright.
count as just 1 drink.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take it.
So you take it.
You can roll to resist the
Yeah,
drinking limit
I'm
here.
just looking up the dice roll.
Hello.
All right.
And by the way, if you were to take any damage, it would technically be considered lethal, not aggravated.
All right, how much damage did I take?
3.
All right.
But do you drink from him?
Yeah, but
Okay, you drink from him.
So
let me roll.
there's a couple different rolls.
Yeah, I know.
One's for Vitae.
I know.
different.
I succeed.
That's a hit.
Yep.
Very nice. So you're barely able to resist because his blood is really good. But you pull away, and he seals up the wound.
That was for the bloodbound.
Yes.
You roll
Oh,
your
that's right, that's
blood
right,
potency minus number of Vitae ingested. Willpower doesn't add to the roll.
Yep.
If successful, you don't suffer the bond. The other one
Yep.
is result of exposure minus 1 for each point of Vitae. Otherwise, you gain the persistent addicted condition.
Which I actually have good defense against, because built this guy around the idea that he gets addicted a lot of things.
Yep.
That's still 3 successes.
Very good. So you pull away. You're not
Nice.
bond. You're not
Well done.
addicted. Yeah. And he kind of grabs you and just kind of throws you out the door. He says, "Now then, everyone, we all know that this scum here thinks that, he is equal to us, but punishment has been enacted. Everything is all good. Please go about your night." And he goes through and he closes the two massive doors to the ballroom. And then he comes down and helps pick you up. Sorry about that. Reaches into his coat, hands you a small glass vial. Take a sip. Believe me, it's going to help.
I'm going to open it, sniff it, and then shrug and sip, swallow it.
Okay, your lethal damage is healed.
All right. I am going to nod and thank him and go, right. So on to the actual business.
Indeed, on to business at hand. Now, see, listen. Like I said, I want him dead to me or Bond to you, as long as he's not a problem anymore. I will give you resources, and the card I gave you is connected to my sheriff. He can get you some pretty good leeway. He's been investigating Enigma for some time, but unfortunately has hit a few walls. The man is very good at hiding.
Right. Time frame.
Oh, no mandatory time frame, but he needs to be taken care of as soon as possible. The more secrets he starts exposing, the more we risk breaking the masquerade.
Understand. Just out of curiosity, the video of me, where was it from?
It was from the Dock District.
I see.
It wasn't so much the fact that you per se were involved in anything odd looking. It's just the two men you ran past had families. And when you see a man run past them and then you see two men ripped apart alive by something that the camera can't even see, naturally the police suspected you. This was easy enough to take care of. However, the families of the two men were a bit persistent. So they had to be taken care of properly.
Creed's going to nod his head and say, "Yeah, sorry about that. When you're being chased
No
by a
worries.
demon, you're kind of... Yeah.
He kind of raises an eyebrow. Demon?
So, turns out Crane's not just experimenting on our kind. Not Crane, sorry. Turns out
Edward.
Edward
Enigma.
Enigma. That's me
Right.
having...
That explains why we saw some of the lupines in the city in the past 100 years. Right. So this is a bigger problem than we may have thought. So your timetable might be shortened a bit now. However, there's no, like I said, there's no mandatory time. Just you should probably focus all of your attention on doing this.
Right. I think I have a lead that can help me track what's going on. If I'll get in contact with your sheriff right away. If we have any samples of anything he has, I might be able to do something with that.
There is an old residence which Mr. Enigma used to live at when he was working at Gotham City Institute Research for Advanced Science. You might want to start there.
Thank you, sir.
Of course. Like I said, he kind of taps you on the shoulder and he's like, "No hard feelings, mate. Just for presentation. Now,
Of course.
get out there and go kick some ass." As he lights another cigar. "I got business to do."
I'm
He
going
walks
to
away.
take off when he lights that cigar. And I guess I'll end that scene there because
Yep.
the next thing I'm doing is calling Talon.
Right. Speaking of Talon and
Okay.
Andrew, let's go back to the hunting scene where Talon and Andrew met up to discuss some things.
I just have one minor question. There's a few references to satiety preference in the book, but nowhere is it actually explained. Now, obviously, you have to feed within your hunger, which is different for each beast and has atavisms and everything associated with it. But the satiety preference has this. It gives the impression it's much more subtle, like it's just kind of like your beast's.
I'll tell you what. For fluff purposes, it'll just be what you want.
Okay.
I imagine it's fluff also.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. At any rate,
Either that
Anthony
or
is-
either that or how that particular beast mixes their family and their hunger. I'm not sure.
okay. Like I said, minor thing, not a big
Indeed.
deal.
You two are kin. Andrew has spoken to you, Talon, in the past about, possibly going out for a hunt this night. So you two will meet up at a location of your choosing, and I'll let the scene play out from you.
I'd almost assume this is him just coming back downstairs from speaking with Miss Kripchenko.
Who?
Unless-
It could
Zoe?
be.
Tatiana.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's strayed away from calling her mistress as much anymore. Now it's been Miss Kripchenko.
Yeah, you probably would have come down if you were upstairs talking to her. I would have picked up my vest and gotten healed by the doctor and had a bit of a chat with those two, and then you probably would have come down shortly after. Talon's kind of happy to have an excuse to get out of that situation, and once he sees you come down, you can see him visibly relieved.
And Andrew is also smiling more than he was before he left. So he's a helpful guy. So he's happy to meet
Well, he's the first.
someone new. And
Yeah, beasts have this whole family theme, and he's the first other beast that he's met since coming into town. So that's partially why he's like, oh, okay, I'll tag along with this person, and maybe there'll be not a linchpin, but like an entry point, I suppose, to greater things.
so Andrew's all smiles while I'm assuming the doctor was there, or
Yeah, Creed and the
Mhm.
doctor were there. We had a scene there, and I figured we'd have you come down afterwards. However, I think the thing that happened with Creed would have been after that, so this would have been a while later.
so I guess we'll say that Creed had left at some point. But anyway,
Yeah.
he's all smiles until the two of them get out the door.
I'm still at Mistress's Tatiana, whatever's booth. I haven't actually met her yet, so it's just kind of like the fancy ladies booth.
Mhm. You two exit the
Scarlet
club.
Rose, yes. And Andrew's going to start walking toward his car, and the smile is gone.
Well, that's
It-
rather.
It is now a downpour.
Oh, good times. So Talon will probably hop out of the booth at the same time the other two leave, and since it's kind of good timing that you're here, he'll just kind of tag along since he had already agreed to follow.
All right.
And if you're
So-
so you were smiling, and then you were happier, and then you just dropped all pretense of emotions. So now he's just like,
Once they
rough
got
night?
outside, yes, Andrew is
Oh,
no
okay.
longer smiling. Rough night, rough week. Are you new here? Sorry, that's a bit of a.
He shrugs. He's like, basically.
It's a facetious question. How new exactly? I've only been a month or two myself.
He pulls out his phone. He's like, well, Less than a week, maybe.
I'm not talking about the city, by the way. And he kind of
Oh,
he's pointing at Talon's chest.
in that case, he'll kind of do that, like, you know how people twist their hands side to side, like, you know. He's not exactly new, but he's not old either.
And I guess I'll make the assumption that means you're not sure.
Well, in character, they wouldn't know exactly what their layer is and all these dots. Like, the character sheet's mostly meta, right? So he's been around for a while, but he also knows that the potential is there to go far greater.
Andrew
Mechanically
just knows
speaking,
that,
it's 3.
Andrew just knows that he's only been the way he has been for about a month.
Oh, like you recently awakened.
Yes.
Or were devoured, I suppose is a better term.
Yes. That
In
was his
regards to
question.
that, he kind of points to his bow and like his attire, and he's like, you know, I've obviously been in this life for a while.
Right then. I suppose you won't be that upset if we go hunting. I'm hungry.
He just shrugs again and gives you that nod of just, no, you're fine. Like, it happens to the best of us. Don't go like mauling an entire city block. But you know, he understands.
Killing isn't my thing anyway. And he doesn't say much until they get to the car, but then once they're in the car and they're driving, he'll start ranting almost.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I got jumped by a few thugs. I caught one of them. I let him go.
Well, that's rather, what is it? For some of us, that's fulfilling.
The other two I'm going to hold on to for a while, if I can find them.
Such a noble sense of justice.
Andrew knows as well as his horror knows that the two of them enjoy justice of a sort.
We do.
I am going to find them, and I am going to hold on to them for a while. A very long while. I think it's been... What did Trinity call it? A feast? One of those.
You're looking for a feast, or you're hoping those two are a feast?
That's my plan. Yes.
Very
So,
well.
what all kinds of information did the first one squeal about? Out of character.
Mostly that he was just involved in a gang and that someone was willing to pay money to rough you up. That was about it.
But not so much the where, huh?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you have something of theirs?
I had one of their friends until I sent him out of my apartment squealing with his leg, with his tail between his legs.
Hmm. Where's this car eventually going?
He's heading downtown to the bad parts of the city.
that's not really anything new to this guy at this point now. But is that separate? Is that somewhere other than Old City? I guess it'd be, if it's downtown, it would have to be. So never mind.
Actually, Andrew might know. What parts of the city is that gang known for frequenting?
Kind of near the older parts of Gotham City. They don't go near some of the higher tech. There are three major gangs. There's Penguin's gang, Joker's gang, and then Scarecrow's old gang. Joker gang is the gang that's kind of started moving up in terms of the cybernetics. Penguin's gang is just kind of average, and then of course Crane's gang is kind of old-fashioned, very, they don't like doing a lot of cybernetic stuff. So they hang around the old city a lot.
Well, he's going to head in that direction, and then he will be using Needs Must, and he's waiting for the sense that he's waiting for someone that meets the criteria, we'll say.
Mm-hmm. So you look around. Roll me. I'm looking at your pool here. Roll me 6 dice, please.
If this is perception, I'll add layer to it if you want.
Yes, add layer.
Is that for both of us or?
Just for Andrew at this point.
No worries.
Mm-hmm. 9, huh? Whoops.
Yes, you recognize them as if they were plain as day. You do manage to catch a few of them. It looks like they're doing a little bit of a drug deal on the corner. Kind of a rundown area. Futuristic, not old city, but, rundown.
Now, are these the two or just two of their buddies?
These are the two.
And Andrew's going to point them out then. See that street corner down there? Those two guys in over-brimmed hats.
Okay.
Basically, I could describe them as somewhat cyberpunk-esque. That's what they would be. Have you ever seen the Terminator movie? Those guys in the beginning where they're like, nothing clean, right? Kind of look like those guys.
Those are the two we're gonna grab.
Let me roll some for them real quick, since you guys aren't massively stealthing right now.
Are we still in the car pulling up?
Yep.
Okay.
They're just in the car on the side of the street, yeah. But I imagine that's conspicuous to a degree.
They both kind of look up and they look over at the car. One of them says something to the other one. Kind of start walking over.
How serious are you about this? Is this just a couple of gang guys, or you think they'll pose a... if they managed to hurt you before, one of us, that's something I should probably consider.
No, I wasn't looking to actually do anything about it last time. Besides, if they weren't dangerous, they wouldn't be good prey. And Andrew will step out of the car.
Step out of the car into the pouring rain. There's a flash of recognition on both the men's faces.
I'll take this
And they say-
opportunity to use my lair traits.
I'll just go ahead and say you got. If for whatever reason I'm talking and you want to make declarations, you can always put it in chat of what you're saying you're doing, and then roll for it.
Sweet deal.
But they get out and they kind of look at you. They're like, "Well, look who's back for more." One of the guys, and I kid you not, literally pulls out a small katana, probably a wakizashi, and then the other guy pulls out a rather hefty-looking baseball bat with some spikes in it. Says, "I think this time we'll put you in the ground. We'll actually get that money this time."
I'm going to imagine that if they're pulling out weapons, there's not a lot of witnesses. Or,
No, it's surprisingly deserted in this little area here.
or whoever was witnessing probably ran away. Oh, boy. I'm not going to attempt any nightmares. He's way too hungry for that.
Talon, have you gotten out of the car, or are you still in the car?
I'm essentially tailing Anthony. I'm out of the car, but I recognize that this is kind of his fight, and he's pissed off with these people. So
the guy's kind of looks, and he's like,
the lead.
"Oh, hey, look at that guy! He's got a bow."
Well, he's. Yeah, about that. I have a quick draw. I haven't actually drawn it yet. I'm still kind of just I'm not sure how far we are. Like across the street.
No, they've walked up to you.
Okay, so if they're up in our face and all.
Yeah, they're basically on top of the car.
Yeah, they're about 5 to 10 feet.
Okay.
One of the guys kind of looks over at Andrew and he's like, "Well, we can do this the easy way or the hard way." And one of the guys kind of blinks, and actually both of them start to blink, and they look at Andrew kind of normally, but then they look over at Talon, and the guy's like squinting his eyes, like, "Huh?"
Unfortunately, Anthony's not in a brood, so I can't extend immunity to those traits.
Guy just kind of shakes his head and looks at Anthony. He's like, "I'll tell you what. We'll be sporting. We'll do this one-on-one. Hey, Boris, why don't you stand back? I'll teach this cop who's boss."
How dark is it at the moment?
It is nighttime and there are a bunch of neon signs around, but it is still dark.
And it's downpouring.
Yeah.
Is it dark enough for poor light? Or what is it called again? I know I wrote it down.
Death of Light?
No, it is poor light. It is just that's what the trait's called, poor light.
Yes, there's enough for that.
Excellent. He will inflict heavy.
Okay, and what does that do again?
It increases the force of gravity. I'm just pulling up the penalty. Heavy is they have to succeed at a strength and stamina roll penalized by 1 dot by 1 die per dot of size above 5, or their characters suffer -3 to all physical dice pools. And success only prevents the penalty for their stamina in turns or seen on exceptional.
And out of character, we have another changeling. Okay. Anyway, all right, so only one of them succeeds. I'll say the guy who's facing off with you, Andrew, succeeds, but the guy in the back is kind of like...
How much does he succeed?
2 hits.
He will have 2 turns before it affects him.
Yep. So the guy with the bat's kind of like getting himself ready to swing at you. And then the guy in the back with the sword is kind of like... Of course, his buddy doesn't notice. And he's going to take a swing at you. Or actually, let's go ahead and roll initiative, since he's taking a -2 initiative. I'm sorry.
Okay. That is... Who takes a weed whacker out at 7 o'clock at night?
I'll be nice. Drawing his pistol doesn't help much, but he does have fast reflexes, doesn't he? Where's that gone?
Oh, that's 4 successes because one of them's a 10.
Cass, what was that for?
Initiative. You said to.
Initiative is 1d10 plus.
Oh, they're yeah. I am. Yeah, it's 1d10 plus. There we go.
So the guy who actually moves to act first is the thug, but Talon gets to make the first move.
All right, I will quick draw and use my bow after moving to short range. So that is.
Out of character. I'll get to you just a sec, Smoke. I just got to do something with these guys, and then we'll go to that scene where I'll introduce you.
So I have 9 agains, so that's actually 4 successes.
Okay. So is this to shoot him?
Yes,
Are you shooting the guy with the bat or the guy with the sword?
the guy with the sharp thing.
The guy with the sword. Okay. Yeah. So what does bow do by default in damage?
2 lethal is the weapon mod. Adds so a total of 6 damage.
Okay. You just took away all his health boxes.
Nice.
Down he goes.
That is my move and my action. So
I believe it's now Andrew's turn.
-3 to all physical dice pools. Ouch. Well, that was the one in front of him, the one with the sword.
you were the one that imposed heavy, so you're immune to it. It's the stuff in the message above it that's effective.
No, I meant who did Talon shoot?
Oh, the guy with the sword.
In other words, the guy that was not taking a swing at Andrew.
Oh,
No, that's fine.
I mean, it must have been surprising then. Oh, we'll do this one-on-one. Takes out his friend. Okay, you got him. I'll take the other one.
Like,
Just
like
drops the
basically,
window.
in terms of initiative happening, like literally at this point, it's kind of like he's still swinging towards Andrew as his friend got shot,
Yeah,
but it's Andrew's turn.
but he said one-on-one, so it's not my fault his friend wasn't prepared. I'm sure Anthony can handle a baseball bat.
Andrew is going to activate his birthright. He may ignore his victim's resistance to one roll. Actions that lack a resistance are considered exceptional. And he is going to activate Caught in the Webs.
Right. Does he need to roll anything for that, or is that just a roll for you?
In this particular case,
It's a ranged attack.
it's
Unless
just going to
he's using
be...
satiety.
No, he's just going to wrap him up. Where did I write it? There it is.
83 of the.
Dex Athletics. There it is. I assume I can get 1 success on 5 dice.
Statistically, you should be able to.
Now Rexford's having flashbacks to that hunger roll.
Please no. Don't do it. Wait a minute, low Sadie. Low city just means that they struggle to take bashing. All right, so it doesn't do anything for me, technically. Now, was this the one that... Well, it doesn't matter. Never mind. Yeah, that's what I thought. 3 2s. That's incredible.
All right.
That's rough.
It does not pop.
Nothing happens that time. But he is able to summon this stuff at least. Not that it does
Yep.
anything for him.
All right. And what is your defense?
His defense is 5. And he's at negative... This is the one affected by heavy. He's at -3.
I'm rolling a chance dice for him, and do you see what he rolled? That's a chance
All right.
dice, by the way.
Yeah,
All right,
he's-
cool. How much lethal does that bat do?
What is your armor rating at the moment?
5-6. You
Okay,
are
so
dealing with a starving, unbreakable beast at the moment.
okay, congratulations. Take 1 bashing damage.
No, he does not.
He does not. All right, you
his
shrug it
armor
off.
soaks it, yeah.
That's the neat
Like-
thing about Unbreakable.
It's like, so he just cracks the back. He just like smashes the bat on your side, and you're just like,
Considering they're at -9 to basically everything. Oh man. So.
all right. So that guy, the guy on the ground is going to go. Ugh! So that's his turn. And then it's back up to Talon.
all right. This guy here is also gonna get shot. Seeing as I'm supposed to be like helping this beast or something, you know?
Are you going for a crippling shot? Or are you going to kill him?
I'm actually gonna aim for his head.
Aim for the head. Okay, that's a -2.
2, I believe.
Andrew did mention
three is
that
the
killing wasn't
heart.
his thing, but okay.
4 is the.
-2.
All right.
Honey? Oh, lovely.
No worries. I would have stunned him had I hit, but it's okay.
Arrow goes past his head.
Other than that, I'll go back towards. It's not Anthony, it's Andrew, I believe. Yeah.
So Andrew, it's your turn again.
All right. He's going to go for Caught in the Webs again.
Okay.
I imagine he still has 5 dice because
Yes.
A10.
That's a hit. You got him. He's like, what the? Caught in the webs.
Andrew is going to punch him until he passes out.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a hit. I'll say he doesn't get his defense here.
Oh, his dexterity is 0?
At the
if
moment,
he's
yeah.
helpless, I mean, if he's helpless, then he's paralyzed, and I kind of figured it would just...
Yeah. Go ahead and roll it.
All right. What is that? Strength athletics? Strength brawl.
Yeah, because
Same deal.
remember too, it's also the second turn. He's now getting affected by other things.
Yeah, so his dexterity's penalized by 2 dots, but the rest are all just penalties rolls.
Yeah, he's got 0 dex then.
Oh, well, that's fine. I
uh,
figured a gangster
so-
would be a little.
so Andrew, I'll go ahead and say you can kind of narrate the scene, but because you only got 1 success, you're going to very slowly start to knock him out.
That's just fine. If Andrew could take his time, he will.
So you do take your time a bit. Eventually, after about 6 or 7 blows, he's out.
John's just like amusedly watching this. Just like he can't move. And you still have this much trouble. But it's okay. It's just kind of this amused, not a stare, like not a rude gaze or anything. He's just kind of amused bystander.
I imagine on one of these hits, like Andrew is actually like trying to shake his wrist out, like, ow, that would actually hurt.
Mhm.
I knew I should have paid more attention back in high school. Okay. Boxing classes for nothing. All right. Would a car door count as a portal, an entrance, if you will?
Yeah. I mean, even
I
a
would
road
say-
counts as a portal, as far as
Yeah,
I'm
I'd say yes.
Excellent. He's going to use illusion of safety. He's going to spend a dot of satiety. Good God. And he's going to open a burrow to his lair directly.
Talon immediately knows what that is.
So I take it you're taking the guy with the arrow in his chest, who is dying, and the guy who is unconscious, and putting them into your lair.
Yep. Oh, this is so stupid. I should just do something else instead, but he's in a rush.
Okay, you put them into the lair.
And once that closes up, he just kind of leans against his car for a minute. Well, I guess we'll find out if that was worth it.
Talon just joins you. He's like, neat trick.
Well, we all have our tricks, don't we?
Indeed. Indeed. What was I gonna say? Some are more flashier than others. Or some are flashier than others.
And as the rain continues to pour, we'll move on to another scene. Anthony and Christian are just now leaving the sushi bar to go do their own business. Dr. Klaus, you have patients to get back to. Anthony, you have some people to talk to. It's at this point that you both notice something in the alleyway. Smoke. I keep forgetting your character's name. Hold on. Harris.
I thought you meant actual smoke.
Harris, I'll go ahead and start the scene here. It's been a long time since your tragedy. Or, well, not that long. Maybe about a day or two. It's difficult to cope with what happened. You feel rage and anger, but you have nothing to hold it out against. You remember who was there. You remember the symbols on the men's jackets that killed your friends and family. You remember the helplessness not being able to stop them. The only satiety that you remembered is that you killed at least one of them. You have a patch. You have the symbol held. Keep it. It's memorabilia in case you find anyone else with that symbol. You stumble in the alleyway. It's a little bit hard to focus sometimes. Depression still kind of consumes you. You're new to this city. city is not your home, but it's where you are now. And you cope the best you can. You stumble and fall down, knocking over a trash can. Cat skitters away in the pouring rain. You lie there on your back, looking up at the clouds. Anthony and Klaus, you both see this man stumble in the alleyway.
Presumably, we also hear the trash can making a lot of noise as he
Mhm.
crashes. Anthony takes a look and then rushes over
Just
to.
gonna lay there and let the rain fall on me or whatever's going on.
Yeah, definitely looking quite concerned. Christian's gonna quickly follow Anthony.
Yeah. Sir, are you okay?
Harris wouldn't answer for a moment, but he would look over and say, "Yeah, I'm fine." He's clearly not. Like, he is not good at lying. His face betrays him, particularly.
Are you hurt anywhere? I'm a doctor. I can help.
No. It's internal hurt, you know. He sets the symbol back in his pocket, and then he would stand back up. He looks uncomfortable as he does, and he would thank this person for their concern. I don't know. He doesn't look like he's comfortable in his skin, where he is currently, and he doesn't know where he is, as you said, so he's just gonna stand there awkwardly.
It's at this point that Anthony and Klaus will both notice two different things. Anthony, what you notice that this guy smells a little off. Probably not mortal. He smells a bit like wolf. Kind of like William does. And Klaus, you notice some kind of nasty looking claw marks on his back. Yes, claw marks.
If you're gonna be trying to look closer to him, but not like in a I'm gonna fucking grab you and check out your back, but just look at them as he's maybe trying to help a little bit, make sure that this guy is stable on his legs.
Are you trying to touch him? Because I don't think he would.
When you stumble, he might be reaching out for your hat, for your arm, and trying to grab hold of your arm to steady you. If you shy away from him, he's gonna stop. But
yeah, he would definitely nope, no touching. He wouldn't say that, but that's definitely the action he would take.
To hold up his hands,
he's definitely frightened to be here and angry. It's very confusing, and these people just walk up and they're concerned, and that's just not a thing he's used to. It's unfortunate.
How about you come with us? Get out of the rain. You'll catch your death out here.
It's not from the rain, from thugs.
Harris would think for a moment, but he would eventually decide, yeah, I'll go with these two people. I don't know anything about them, but can't be anything as bad as he's experienced. So he agrees. Harris says, yeah, sure, I'll go for now. And yeah, that's what happens, I guess.
This woman comes out of the sushi bar, and she looks over to you, Klaus and Anthony, and she's like, "Oh my God, bring him in."
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Yes.
Come on, mate.
Harris does not think he looks that bad because like it's just like the usual affair for the forest and stuff. So he's just like, okay, and then he will go in and follow. That's crazy.
You know what? I'm gonna go get my medical bag, and
Okay,
I'll
you can
meet
get
you
your
in there.
medical bag.
I'll stay with him.
Yes, please do. I'll like shuffle quickly over to his fucking little fucking I don't know small ass car.
Klaus.
Yes.
It's amusing to see you care so much for them.
He just like stops. It's like, do I know where this is coming from, or is it like inside?
Kind of hard to tell.
All right. He's gonna frown, look around to see if he sees anything that's out of the ordinary, beyond
There's nothing
everything in Gotham.
Nothing. There seems to be nothing there.
He just shakes his head. Think about that later. We've got a job to do. They'll grab his fucking bag.
You grab your bag and you rush back to him.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me an intelligence medicine to kind of analyze Harris over.
Sure. That's oof. I wish you had said wisdom. I lost my stats for a second there. Okay. Int plus med. That's 5 die. One success, but that's a 10. So.
Yep. These are definitely claw marks. Very large claw marks. And you do feel that you'll be able to at least bandage him up and help the guy out.
Yeah.
So Harris, he goes about starting to kind of bandage you up.
Cleaning out the wound is probably gonna hurt.
He definitely tries to contain himself, but there would be like maybe like a singular like growl, maybe there's like you just touched it the wrong way. Don't touch that. Like definitely.
Yumi, this woman comes up to you, Harris. She's like, "My name is Yumi. What is yours?"
Harris. He answers.
Kind of looks you up and down. Squints her eyes at you. She says, "You have no pack."
He does not look happy that she said that. Not anymore. That's not something that someone should say. Not at this moment. He's talking to himself at that moment. I'm trying to figure the emotion to feel right now. Like there's a lot at once, honestly.
As your anger starts to boil, you feel it start to drop as she reaches out and touches your shoulder.
Yeah. He looks confused right now. But there's a relief, that relief that you explained. And...
I am Yumi Magdare. I am Spectral Master of the Seers. You are welcome in this territory, Harris.
Thank you. God, that's just it. It all kind of happened at once, honestly, and I'm trying to process that, this feeling. Eris Grimwald. That's my favorite full name.
Sorry, what did you say?
Harris Grimwald.
All right.
What happened, Harris?
It's only been a couple days, but my pack was attacked, and they were killed. He pulls out the symbol that he had. There were men, and they were wearing these. It's still a little hazy, the memory of what exactly happened. Got one of them. They broke real easy, or maybe they didn't, but they're dead now, and that's all that I can hope for. He hands over the symbol to her so she can look at it.
She looks down at the symbol. The only person in this room who recognizes the symbol is Anthony. Anthony, are you there?
Yep.
This symbol is a symbol for the old Crane Industries.
Huh? He can't help himself, and he just blurts out, "What? Crane Industries? The old
Crane Industries? I thought that company was disbanded almost 100 years ago now.
It was. Anthony looks quite surprised at that.
She looks back down at the symbol, hands the patch back to you.
He would.
You got this
pocket
off
it.
of one of you got this off of one of the ones who attacked you.
Yeah, I tore it off. He isn't. I'm sure he's not aware of what the symbol exactly is, but he would ask Anthony, like, who are these people and what do they do? Because he definitely wants revenge. Some sort of vengeance for his tragedy.
Anthony would rack his brains and try to remember what he can about the old Crane Industries.
Yeah, your history is good enough, Anthony. You remember that Crane Industries was disbanded after the Purge happened, and it used to be kind of in place of where Wayne Industries is now. But Crane Industries was a lot more weaponry and technology focused, and they were actually the ones who kind of sparked a lot of the technology movement that happened just before the Purge. The company was disbanded, everything was liquidized, and Wayne Industry took over. Crane was nowhere to be seen, and then about 10 years later, he showed up as gang leader. People just assumed it was a copycat because how on earth can a human live longer than 100 years? But afterwards, Wayne Industries focused their technology more towards helping the city and crime and whatnot. And so as far as you know, Crane Industries has been disbanded almost 100 years. However, you noticed, now that you think about it, you noticed this symbol on some of the hallway walls when you got abducted by Edward.
He will share what he knows with the others, just commenting, "Yeah, this isn't the first time I see this symbol. How does the Riddler fit into this?
Perhaps we should find out. Harris,
Yeah.
you are woke. We have a spare room upstairs. You are welcome to stay here. If you wish to join us as a pack, you may, but that is up to you. I will not force you to do anything you do not wish to do. But there is a home here if you want it, and we can keep you safe, and we can help you find who did this to you.
That's a strange kindness you're giving. But I don't think I can refuse, but it's going to take time to sort myself out.
Of course.
I'll take the room, of course, but the pack thing is going to take like maybe a couple days. We'll.
Of course.
Yeah.
I've seen more in you than you may realize, Harris. It's a gift the spirits gave me. Anyway, come. I'll help you to your room.
Yeah, Harris would follow.
And it's a fairly decent sushi restaurant that she owns, so there's a couple spare rooms up top, and they're fairly decent.
It's probably better where he would sleep.
My son William is a member of the Seers as well. I will see to it that he knows you are here, so there is no conflict between you. I also have another friend of our pack coming soon, and I will see to it that he knows you are here as well, so there will be no conflict or challenge for Alpha.
Not really my position, anyhow.
You never
In
know.
all honesty, it's just too much work, responsibility, all that. And he kind of remembers that he wasn't alpha himself in his other pack, and he does kind of miss the leadership that they had, because it was, I don't know, he's still new to the game a little bit. He'll figure it out. For now,
By the way, just double checking with you. You spent your 15 XP at the beginning, right?
I don't remember. Let me check.
Sure. Either way,
look over my sheet
we'll go ahead and have him lay down and kind of rest up, and then we'll go back to another scene here.
Yep.
Yumi comes back down, and she looks at Anthony and Klaus. And she says, "This is troubling."
Oh?
Yes. Ghosts from the past showing up again. I don't like it.
There's a lot of things around here that's been strange this evening.
Indeed. Be on your guard, both of you. We don't know what's coming. There was mud at the break-in when someone tried to break in here. Do either of you know about that?
No, I prefer more sterile environments, I'm afraid.
There's not many places in the city anymore where one could get earth and mud tracked in so easily, especially with this rain. Do you know anything, Anthony?
Anthony tries to remember if any of this is ringing any bells for him.
Did you talk with Tatiana about the break-in?
I remember her mentioning mud, salt, and a few other things. You wouldn't by any chance also have found some salt and other odd elements around there by any chance?
Yes, we did find some. Yes, we did find some.
The second time this is showing up, and yes, this is very unusual for this city.
Very well then. Keep your wits about you. I will talk with you both later.
Yes, ma'am.
She goes back upstairs. And Anthony, you get a text on your phone
Mm-hmm.
basically telling you to report in. And it's from Miss Black. And unfortunately, out of character, I unfortunately have to go. But Anthony,
It's
I
okay.
do have I have a scene where I will need you to not only do the report in, but there's also a scene between you and Miss Black that will happen. And as for
Gotcha.
anyone else, if you wish to continue to do socials, that's fine. But I will unfortunately need to end the session here.
Yeah.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another day in Gotham by Night.